we're gonna keep it very
loose,
very loose, man.
Conversational.
No, but first, thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
We've been funny story. Austin about a year ago was like he had a dream. It was like we were going to an MLP event. We had just become team owners of the California Black Bears, and we heard that you were going to be in Arizona. And Austin's like, I had a dream that Drew Brees joined to be a part of the Pickler. And I'm like, he's like, we need to meet him. We need to meet him 100%. A year ago.
This is the inaugural MLP event in Mesa, Arizona. Get out of here.
Yep. So it's just funny that we're here now in a car, right? We manifested this day, and I mean, we're like, we're not gonna be stalkers. We're just gonna go. I mean, if we get the chance to meet Drew, we'll tell him what we're doing at the Pickler. But just naturally happened, right? And
it's pretty cool.
It's been amazing. Just you've had an amazing NFL career. Hopefully, crossing fingers, 2026 first ballot Hall of Famer, right? That's what we're hoping for. And in your retirement, I mean, what drew you to pickleball? And no pun intended there. I didn't mean to. But what drew you to pickleball?
So it's funny. I feel like it came back around for me in maybe 2018, and that was before I think it kind of took the world by storm. Obviously,
that long.
COVID brought a lot of people to pickleball. Taping courts in their driveways and on the street and that kind of thing. But I'd been exposed to it as a kid at summer camp. I grew up in Texas.
No way.
I remember going to camp, but this was like the very, very early stages of pickleball, where I remember it being a wooden paddle. I remember the court being it felt like more of just a smaller version of tennis. The ball was different, more inconsistent, wooden paddles. And so I vaguely remember playing it. And look, like, I love ping pong. I love anything that's racket and ball sport. So 2018 comes around, and I'm actually building a sport court in our backyard. And of course, I'm building a basketball hoop, and I'm like, you know what? I need to line this for pickleball. This is 2018. Because it's a great family sport, like something I want to do with the kids, and like I hadn't been able to get them into tennis, but I'll get them to hit the pickleball around a little bit with me. It's much easier to adopt and learn, and then all of a sudden COVID comes around, and then it became something that literally, like, we're walking in the backyard every day and playing.
Wow, amazing! And I think the question everyone probably wants to know, what's your duper? What do you rank yourself, Drew?
You know what? I don't have an official rating. I don't think I've logged enough matches, but I'm probably in the 4 or 5 range, up to a 5 if I was.
Yeah, we watch footage. You're legit.
I'm all right.
You're getting out in the courts often?
Not as much as I'd like to. I've been keeping myself busy with a lot of things, and obviously having 4 kids too. That you're constantly shuttling to practices and trying to coach and that kind of thing. But I really enjoy the game.
Amazing. You've made some very calculated investments in franchising. What specifically about the Pickler gets you excited to develop 20 locations across Ohio and Indiana?
Yeah. Well, first off, pickleball's here to stay. If you haven't recognized that, obviously you have. Obviously you have. It is not a fad. I think it will continue to grow exponentially.
Yeah.
There's obviously a shortage in courts, and then you think about locations, especially in the Northeast, Midwest, down south, where, man, for 4 to 5 months out of the year, it's pretty miserable to be outside, whether it's the extreme heat or it's the extreme cold. And so to have a facility like the Pickler, which is state of the art, beautiful, unbelievable courts, unbelievable setting, but I think the membership community that you end up creating as a result of that, I think, becomes a bit of a gathering place for a lot of people. Certainly those that are really serious about pickleball, the 5 days a week, competitive players, or the very casual, just going to have fun with friends, bring the family in. I think there's something there for everybody, and Pickler is at the forefront.
No, and I think you bring a great point, and we call it the third space, right? When we're thinking about the Pickler and how to create the best environment, a lot of people, that the third space is the Pickler. It's their communities. It's work, it's their home, and then
Yeah.
the Pickler is kind of that third space that we're always thinking about. How do we just continue to help build community, have human interactions, let people get competitive, and have fun doing it, right? And so, at this point, you're essentially a black belt when it comes to franchise operations. I mean, you've been involved in some other amazing companies. Um, what advice could you give to prospective potential franchisees that are looking to bring a Pickler to their communities? What advice would you give to them?
Well, the things I think about when I think about franchising and successful franchise concepts is, number one, it has to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
And I think there was something that drew us all to the game of pickleball, right?
No pun intended, right?
Right, exactly. Whether it was just our enjoyment for playing the game, or the people that we had a chance to gather to be able to play it, playing with friends, family, an outlet, from kind of the daily grind. Whatever it might be, there was an authenticity there.
Yep.
Secondly, I think what I've appreciated about Pickler especially is just the leadership and the culture.
Yeah.
I can tell that there's something special happening there. And then you get down to the business part of it, and that's the unit economics have to make sense, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a concept that absolutely the unit economics make sense. And bottom line is, these communities are just like, they're like screaming off the mountaintops for wanting more courts, right, and wanting more access. And that's why I think this is such an incredible concept for any community, is you're providing that third space, but you're providing access to the game of pickleball that, otherwise people might have a hard time.
Well, and it's great to hear it from what we've been trying to build, that you were able to see that, right? This last year, we've spent a lot of time on making sure that operationally we are the best facilities out there that are being operated the right way. Culturally, that people enjoy coming to work. We just received an award today that we're one of the best places to work for from a sports perspective and category. So we're super excited about that. And then just bringing amazing executive teams that they know what they're doing. They've done this for many years. And, from when we think about the franchisee, we want to make sure that the ROI is there, right? That the unit economics make sense. And you're a businessman at the end of the day, right? And so what is it about the membership model that ultimately attracted you as well to the Pickler?
I love the membership model from the perspective that, and especially with the ease of being able to, book a court, set up a time, just this idea that you create routine and structure and great habits into people's lives. When you have a membership at a place like the Pickler, you kind of set that weekly schedule of, hey, I've got my group and we're getting up early and we're playing, or hey, dropping the kids off at school and then we've got the group that we're going to play with, or I'm going to get my lesson and it's going to be at this time, right? Or hey, that corporate event, right? Every month, we're going to do an offsite, we're going to bring the company in, we're going to have a great time together. It's going to be team building. It's just going to be something that's again, just kind of great for something besides just the individual aspect. It's something to kind of bring community, build teams, and I think that's what I love about the membership model.
Amazing. At the Pickler, we just talked about culture. Our three pillars are connect, dink, and compete, right? The connect portion of it, as I mentioned, human interactions. We love to see human interactions happen on a daily basis through pickleball, right? It's the great equalizer. We are all equals when we're on the pickleball court. It's amazing. Right. We've had people that have started with us as volunteers that now work for us. They found their loved ones and they found their husband or wife on the courts. They've had kids. So it's just kind of amazing to see that full circle happen from the connect part of it. The dink portion of our pillar, we want people having fun at the end of the day. This sport is meant to ultimately bring us all together so we can have something outside of all the stresses that we have in this life, and really just have, try to have as much fun as we can. And the compete portion of it, you've competed your whole life, right? You understand that the natural, competitive in us that sometimes we just need to let loose, right? And pickleball, I think, accomplishes all three of those. How does this align with you and, your thought process around culture, those three pillars of connecting and competing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said it. I think pickleball, and one of the reasons why it's become such a popular sport is because it's a very social sport.
Yeah.
You're not doing it by yourself. And in most cases, I'd say 95% of the time, you're playing doubles, right? So you've got a group of 4 people out there, and it really doesn't matter the skill level. It is a bit of the great equalizer. You know, the way that the kitchen is set up and the way that, like, just the rule, like it requires, the game is more about placement, and it's more about touch, and it's more about feel than it is about just like brute force or power, right? In fact, my tendency is to go more towards the power, and then that's where I get beat. And that's where I get humbled very quickly, right? You know, you step on the court with, you know, a couple 75-year-olds that just kind of know how to work the ball around the court.
It's funny how we've all been there. We all have a 75-year-old story.
Learn the hard way, right? With the knee braces and the wrist guards and everything else.
Nothing more humbling.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, here's the thing. What I love about the game of pickleball too is that it promotes such a healthy and active lifestyle. I think it has gotten a lot of people moving again that otherwise were probably a bit stagnant, and we're maybe having trouble finding something to, you know, kind of give them that feeling again. And pickleball has given a lot of people that feeling again of movement, of, you know, competition, of athleticism, of just, I think, all the benefits that, you know, that gives you just for your overall health and wellness. And that's not just physically, but that's mentally.
Yeah. No, it's amazing what pickleball does for every aspect of our lives. I mean, you touched on one, just the emotional stresses that we do, or that we just have every single day, and just being able to be on the court with the community. You know, it's just, most of the time when we were playing pickleball, even if it's a competitive, a lot of smiles, right? A lot of people just enjoying it, right? And there's so much growth still in pickleball. I still feel like we're still at the very beginning of where pickleball is at. I mean, there's been a lot of progress that's happened in the sport.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a betting man, you know, where do you see the sport here in 10 years?
Well, I think pickleball up to this point, especially at the professional level, has been men and women transitioning from tennis, right? They were pursuing a tennis career, didn't work out, or all of a sudden somebody put a pickleball paddle in their hands and they were like, this is awesome, I love it, I want to pursue this, right? I think what you're going to see more and more of is kids playing this at a younger level. High school teams forming, and they're already. I just did a Zoom with a high school pickleball club team the other day that's trying to create this club atmosphere in and around pickleball amongst the local high schools. You're going to see college scholarships. I mean,
Utah, give a shout out to Utah Tech here in Utah. They rewarded 2 scholarships, and one of our employees, Dylan Champagne.
Really?
Shout out to Dylan. She's
Utah
amazing.
Tech,
Utah
Dylan,
Tech.
nice work.
Yes.
I love it. So I that's absolutely coming as an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
I think pickleball is coming as an Olympic sport. I mean, what's amazing is, you know, I'm an owner in an MLP team, Major League Pickleball team, the Los Angeles Mad Drops Pickleball Club, baby. Cheer Force 2024 going to be a big year. But 2023, we won the first championship ever, right? And we were represented by our team, 2 men, 2 women, was a Canadian woman, Russian, American guy, and an Italian.
Wow.
So think about just the ethnicities and the countries that are going to end up adopting this, playing this. I mean, like you look at people from all different countries and all different walks that are coming in and now starting to play. It's not just coming from the tennis world anymore. It's people that are just, this becomes the racket sport that they adopt early and are going to play, and it's really unique.
Well, we feel like Utah's an early adopter when it comes to what's happening in pickleball. Our youth programs, I mean, at the Pickler, they fill up at this point. It's very hard to get a spot in now. The universities here, we just mentioned Utah Tech, Utah Valley, Utah State. They're all amongst top 10 in the nation of colleges that are ranked right now at the collegiate level, which is amazing to see. We keep very close tabs of what's happening out there in the world. I mean, Canada, Latin America, Asia Pacific. I mean, I was just watching a player, Quang Dong in Vietnam, dedicated courts popping up in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Just what you're mentioning, right? We've seen what a phenomenon it is in the United States, but when the world catches on, it's going to be something special, right? I mean, it really can bring a lot of people together, and what an amazing thing it'll be when we see it in the Olympics. Drew, thank you for being here. Thank you for being in Utah, the home of the Pickler. Maybe one last thing, we've seen so many concepts of pop up. When we started this 3 years ago, myself and my business partner Austin, we had this vision of this Pickler could go nationwide. We didn't know how to get there, but we're here now. We're trying to get to as many locations as fast as we can. You probably represented many concepts that are indoor pickleball. I mean, why ultimately the Pickler?
I think it had a lot to do with the team. And that's credit to you and the team that you've built and really carrying out your vision. I think that everything about the concept from the perspective of the community that's creating, just like the beauty of the space, too. How inviting it is, how it goes beyond just playing the sport. Look, at the end of the day, the more people we can get to play, the better, right? So however we can grow the sport of pickleball, however we can get more people engaging in this healthy and active lifestyle, right? Creating community, like creating all the social benefits that come as a result of it, all the kind of the physical and mental well-being that comes as a result of it. But for Pickler specifically, I think what you'll find is the community that will be created amongst all of the franchisees and amongst all of the members. Like, that's something that, as you're traveling on business and maybe you've got your membership at the Indianapolis location and all of a sudden you're here in Utah and it's like, man, I look forward to getting up after, before my meetings or whatever, and I'm going to head over to the Pickler, right? And let's see what type of community and culture, and this is something that's replicable, it's something that's going to be kind of integrated into every unit that we open together. And I think that's what's really fun about this too, is that people are going to look forward to going to other locations and be able to experience everything that they have in their home location.
Well, Drew, we're lucky to have you on the team. One of the things that attracted us about you is how passionate you are to not only represent but to operate, right? And so we're in for a wild ride together in 2024. So just excited that we're here, man.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll see you on the court. So glad to have Drew Bree with us. That's amazing. We're gonna have a big 2024.